The Galactic Council chamber was vast, cold, and filled with towering alien leaders. Thousands of eyes watched as a small human delegation stood alone at the center. Whispers echoed through the hall. Some aliens laughed openly. Others showed smiles filled with pity. To them, humans were fragile, emotional, and reckless. A species that fought wars with anger instead of logic. One council member spoke loudly, his voice sharp with arrogance. He reminded everyone how humans had nearly destroyed their own world through endless conflict. Another mocked their short lifespans and weak bodies. The council records labeled humans as unfit for galactic warfare. Every word felt like a blade meant to cut deep. The human commander did not speak. He stood still, hands behind his back, listening. The silence made the mockery worse. The council took it as fear. They believed humans already understood their place. Finally, the decision was announced. Humans would only be allowed to fight as a last resort, under strict limits, watched at all times. The chamber filled with approval. The council believed they had controlled the danger. As the humans turned to leave, the commander smiled softly. Not in anger. Not in pride. It was the smile of someone who knew a truth others had yet to learn. When the war began, the galaxy expected humans to fail first. Alien fleets moved in perfect lines, following ancient rules of honor and formation. Human ships arrived late, scattered, and silent. No grand announcement. No signals of challenge. The council observers shook their heads, convinced this would end quickly. Then something felt wrong. Human ships did not attack head-on. They vanished from sensors, reappeared for seconds, and disappeared again. Supply convoys exploded far from the front lines. Communication towers went dark without warning. Entire battle groups reported strange errors, false readings, and phantom enemies that were not there. Alien commanders accused each other of mistakes. They tightened formations, waiting for a proper fight. But humans never gave them one. Small human teams struck at night cycles, destroyed key systems, and retreated before anyone could respond. No trophies were taken. No victories were announced. The council grew uneasy. This was not retreat. This was not chaos. It was patience. Human soldiers fought without speeches, without cheers, without anger. Every move felt calculated, cold, and deliberate. The war map began to change, slowly but surely. Front lines no longer mattered. The aliens realized too late that humans were not fighting the war they expected. They were fighting the war they planned. The turning point came without warning. A full human fleet moved into open space, right where the enemy could see them. Alien commanders could not believe their luck. At last, a clear target. They attacked with everything they had. Human ships burned, broke apart, and vanished in fire. The aliens celebrated. They declared the battle a decisive victory and sent the news across the galaxy. But the humans did not respond. Minutes passed. Then hours. No counterattack came. Instead, alarms began to spread through alien territory. Supply stations lost power. Jump gates shut down at the same time. Medical hubs went offline. Entire star systems reported shortages of fuel, food, and energy. The destroyed human fleet had been a distraction. Hidden teams had already moved deep into enemy space. They did not attack armies. They attacked systems that kept armies alive. One silent strike after another, perfectly timed. No warnings. No demands. The alien war effort started collapsing from the inside. Ships sat useless without fuel. Soldiers waited for orders that never arrived. Commanders realized the truth in fear. Humans were willing to lose battles to end wars. The council watched the data streams in silence. This was not a tactic taught in any academy. It was something far worse. It was a strategy designed to leave nothing standing. At first, humans had followed the limits set by the Galactic Council. They avoided civilian zones and used minimal force. But once the enemy began targeting human colonies, everything changed. The restrictions quietly disappeared. No announcement was made. No warning was sent. The next phase of the war felt different. Alien fleets reported being hunted instead of fighting. Human ships waited in deep space, engines cold, weapons ready. When an enemy moved, humans were already there. Ambushes came from impossible angles. Entire fleets vanished without distress calls. Silence became the most feared signal in the galaxy. Then the messages began. Enemy soldiers received broadcasts in their own languages. Calm human voices explained exactly how their defenses had failed and how long they had left. There was no anger in the words, only certainty. The effect was devastating. Some units surrendered without firing a single shot. Others abandoned their posts and fled. Human commanders showed no emotion. They advanced slowly, methodically, removing one stronghold at a time. This was not revenge. This was not rage. This was control. The Council realized humans had never shown their full strength before. They had been holding back, not out of weakness, but choice. And now that choice was gone. The war no longer felt like a conflict. It felt like an ending. The war ended suddenly, not with a final battle, but with silence. Across the galaxy, enemy systems stopped responding. Fleets powered down. Weapons floated useless in space. No surrender speech was broadcast. No victory signal was sent by humans. Everything simply stopped. Galactic Council observers were disturbed by what came next. Human forces did not celebrate. There were no parades, no songs, no claims of glory. Human soldiers returned to their ships, cleaned their equipment, and filed reports as if finishing routine work. To them, the war was a task completed, nothing more. Alien survivors were left in shock. Their leaders were gone. Their systems broken. Their people alive, but changed forever. Many admitted they no longer feared human weapons. They feared the human mindset. Council analysts reviewed the recordings again and again. Humans had avoided total destruction, yet had complete control at every step. They chose exactly how much damage to cause. That choice terrified the galaxy more than any superweapon. One council member finally spoke the truth out loud. Humans did not enjoy war. They did not seek dominance or honor. They sought closure. And once humans decided a war must end, they made sure it could never begin again. The chamber fell quiet as a single realization spread through every species present. This was not victory. This was galactic horror. The emergency session of the Galactic Council began in fear, not debate. Every seat was filled. Every species understood the same truth. If humans were allowed to fight again, the galaxy itself would not survive the lesson. The war had proven something no treaty ever could. Humans did not fight to conquer territory. They fought to remove the reason for war. The Council reviewed the final reports. Human forces had withdrawn exactly on schedule. No demands were made. No rewards were claimed. When asked why, the human commander gave a simple answer. The threat was gone. That was enough. A new law was proposed and passed without a single objection. It was written carefully, then repeated in every known language. Humans would never again be allowed to participate in galactic wars. Not as allies. Not as enemies. Not even as peacekeepers. The reason was recorded for history. When humans enter a war, they do not follow the rules. They rewrite them. They do not seek victory. They seek endings. As the law was sealed, the human delegation stood to leave. The commander paused at the doorway and spoke softly, almost kindly. "We followed your rules this time." No one asked what would happen if they did not. The doors closed. The council remained silent. The galaxy had survived. Barely.